Members, good afternoon. We have a quorum, and it's the appointed time. I call to order this meeting. Agenda item 1, matters arising. When I talked to the Chief Secretary for Administration, he said he was pleased that the fitting out works on the members' floors of the electrical complex had been completed, and that members had started to move into their new offices last Saturday. CS also said that the relevant government departments would continue to work closely with the contractor and the Secretariat to take forward the remaining works, with a view to completing the expansion and the fitting out works on the other floors as early as possible, so that the complex could soon be put into full operation. Agenda item 2. Legal Service Division reports on bills and subsidiary legislation. We have one bill referred to the House Committee in accordance with Rule 54(4) of the Rules of Procedure today. Air Pollution Control Amendment Bill 2024, LC paper number LS65/2024. Legal advisor, please briefly walk us through the bill. Thank you, Madam Chair. This bill seeks to amend the Air Pollution Control Ordinance and its subsidiary legislation to amend the air quality objectives and empower the Secretary for Environment and Ecology to amend those objectives by notice published in the Gazette. The bill also empowers the Director of Environmental Protection to issue closure notices to unlicensed specified processes, and it provides for the relevant offences. This bill also covers a licensing regime regulating cementing works. Please refer to paragraphs 4 to 16 of the paper. November 2024 will be the date when this bill commences. The panel on environmental affairs has been consulted and members were in general supportive of the proposal. The LSD is now scrutinizing the legal and drafting aspects of the bill. This bill seeks to amend the air quality ordinances, and that a new statutory framework will be introduced. I believe members will consider forming a bills committee to study the bill. Thank you, legal advisor. Do members consider it necessary to form a bills committee for this bill? Please raise your hands if you think it is necessary for us to form a bill. Mr. Bill Tang, Dr. Frankie An, and another member has raised his hand. The Secretariat will issue a notice to invite members to join this committee. Agenda item 2B. We have one subsidiary legislation today. It is gazetted on the 22nd of November 2024, LC paper number LS66/2024. The above report covers one subsidiary legislation. Legal advisor, please walk us through the subsidiary legislation. This is Legal Notice 166. It is made under the Public Health and Municipal Services Ordinance. It sets aside 3 places for use as public pleasure grounds, and they are Choi Ping Riverside Promenade, Anderson Road Quarry Flood Lake Park, and Tung Chung River Park. This legal notice will take in effect starting from the 13th of February next year. We have scrutinized the drafting and legal aspects, and we did not identify any issues. Do members consider it necessary to form a subcommittee to study this subsidiary legislation? Please raise your hands. I remind members that the deadline for amending the subsidiary legislation is the 15th of January 2025. Agenda item 3, business for the Council meeting of the 4th of December 2024. The latest agenda covers the following. 1. Questions. 2. Government bills. They are Courts Remote Hearing Bill, Companies Amendment Bill 2024, and Public Health and Municipal Services Amendment Bill 2024. The House Committee will, on the 6th of December, that is the meeting next week, deal with these 3 bills. 3. Members' motions without legislative effect. They are motion on exploring the reform of mechanisms on all fronts to strengthen the role of events capital to be moved by Ms. Kenneth Falk, and motion on strengthening the governance systems and further reinforcing the closely intertwined relations between the 3 centers to be moved by Ms. Carmen Khan. Apart from the above items, report number 21/2024 of the House Committee on Consideration of Subsidiary Legislation and Other Instruments will be laid on the table of the Council that day. The above report sets out 2 subsidiary legislations, the period for amendment of which will expire at the Council meeting that day. No members indicated that they wish to speak on these subsidiary legislations. Agenda item 4. Business for the Council meeting of the 11th of December 2024. A. Questions. The list of members who have been given question slots is now uploaded to the Legislative Council website. B. Government Bill. First reading and second reading debate to be adjourned. Inland Revenue Amendment Tax Deductions for Assisted Reproductive Service Expenses Bill 2024. The House Committee will deal with this bill at the meeting on the 13th of December. C. Government Bill, second reading, debate to resume, consideration by Committee of the Whole Council and third reading. Stamp Duty Legislation, Miscellaneous Amendments Bill 2024. At the meeting last Friday, it was decided that there is no need to form a Bills Committee to scrutinize this bill. D. Government motions. 1. Proposed resolution under Section 7(a) of the Legal Aid Ordinance to be moved by the Chief Secretary for Administration, LC paper number LS67/2024. Legal advisor, please brief us on this resolution. Thank you. The purpose of this resolution is to seek approval from the Legislative Council to amend the limits of financial resources of legal aid applicants, that is to raise the percentage by 2%. And the amount will be raised from $440,800 to $449,000 approximately. And for supplementary legal aid scheme, the amount will be raised from about $440,800 to about $449,600. Please refer to paragraphs 2 and 3 of the paper. This is to reflect the change in the Consumer Price Index C recorded for the reference period from July 2023 to July this year. The panel on administration of justice and legal services was consulted, and no objections were raised by members. The amended rates will take effect on the date of publication in the Gazette. No issues relating to the legal and drafting aspects of the resolution have been identified. Thank you. On the proposed resolution reported, do members find it necessary to form a subcommittee to study this? Please raise your hands. If not, the government will, at the Council meeting on the 11th of December, move this proposed resolution. 2. Proposed resolution under Section 22A of the Legal Aid Ordinance. LC paper number LS68/2024. Legal advisor, please. Thank you, Madam Chair. The purpose of this proposed resolution is to seek the approval from the Legislative Council to increase 2 amounts by 2%. One is the rates of maintenance payments. The amount will be increased from $9,500 to about $9,700. The second amount is in relation to the reduction of the retained sum by the Director of Legal Aid. In case there are serious hardship, the amount will be reduced to about $114,000 approximately. Please refer to paragraphs 2 and 3 of the paper. This is to reflect the change in the Consumer Price Index C recorded for the reference period from July last year to July this year. The panel on administration of justice and legal services got the information paper, and no members raised objections to this. The amended rates will take effect or put into operation on the date of the publication in the Gazette. No issues relating to the legal and drafting aspects of the resolution have been identified. Thank you. Members, is it necessary to form a subcommittee to study this proposed resolution? Please raise your hands if you find it necessary. If not, the government will, on the 11th of December, move this proposed resolution. 3. Proposed resolution under the Criminal Procedure Ordinance to be moved by the Chief Secretary for Administration, LC paper number LS69/2024. Legal advisor, please. The last proposed resolution is to seek legislative approval of the legal aid in criminal cases amendment rules 2024. The fees payable to solicitors or counsel in private practice to undertake criminal litigation work will be increased. Please refer to paragraphs 2 and 3 of the paper. This is to reflect the change in the Consumer Price Index from July 2020 to July 2022. In October, the relevant information paper was submitted to the Panel on Administration of Justice and Legal Services. No objections were raised, and the adjustment of the fees will take effect after the gazetted of this notice. No issues have been identified in relation to the legal and drafting aspects of the rules. Thank you. Members, do you find it necessary to form a subcommittee to study this proposed resolution? Please raise your hands. If not, the administration will, on the 11th of December, move the proposed resolution. Please take note of that. 4. Proposed resolution under the Dutiable Commodities Ordinance to be moved by the Secretary for Commerce and Economic Development. The subcommittee that scrutinizes the proposed resolution concerning the reduction of liquor duty made a report in the last House Committee meeting. As noted by members, the administration will move the resolution at the Council meeting on the 11th of December. E. Members' motions. 1. Motion on continuing to put forward proposals conducive to the development of the country and the Hong Kong SAR as the 14th five-year plan is coming to a successful conclusion, to be moved by Mr. Michael Lee. 2. Motion on taking forward red tourism and the panda economy in Hong Kong, to be moved by Mr. Brave Chan. The wording of the above motions has been uploaded to the Legislative Council website. The deadline for giving notice of amendment is the 4th of December. It is a Wednesday. Agenda item 5, Chief Executive's Interactive Exchange Question and Answer Session. It will be held on the 12th of December from 10:30 a.m. to 12 p.m. on a Thursday. The Secretariat will inform members of the topic as well as other details about the Q&A session. Members, please take note of that. There will be a number of proposed resolutions on that day, and we will also have the CE Q&A session on that day. Reports of Bills Committees and Subcommittees. There are 2 reports today. 1. Report of the Bills Committee on Fire Safety Buildings Amendment Bill 2024. I now invite the Chairman of the Bills Committee, Mr. Tony Che, to give us the report. Mr. Che, please. Thank you, Madam Chair. The bill seeks to amend the Fire Safety Buildings Ordinance to empower the enforcement authorities to carry out fire safety improvement works for owners of buildings who have failed to comply with fire safety directions or fire safety compliance orders, and to recover the costs of the works and the relevant surcharges from the owners concerned upon completion of the works. The bill also proposes to introduce different measures to motivate owners to comply with the requirements of the ordinance on their own. The Bills Committee held 5 meetings with the administration and listened to public views at one of the meetings. Members supported giving power to the enforcement authorities to carry out fire safety improvement works for owners who have genuine difficulties in complying with the requirements of the ordinance. Members expressed views on how to effectively implement the works for owners. For instance, the government must ensure that the industry could afford such works, and that the enforcement authorities should clearly explain the thresholds they adopt as well as their prioritization before carrying out works for owners. Members were particularly concerned about how the enforcement authorities could effectively recover the costs and the relevant surcharges upon completion of the defaulted works. And members requested the authorities to clearly define who would be legally liable to pay for the costs in the event of transfer of titles and how the costs of the works should be split. Measures are proposed in the bill to promote owners' voluntary compliance with the requirements of the ordinance. They include empowering the enforcement authorities to register a direction with the Land Registry, as well as increasing the maximum penalty for failure to comply with a direction and a compliance order. Members raised concerns about the effectiveness of the measures and the enforcement arrangements. In response to members' views, the administration undertook to put in place performance indicators concerning the following matters. The enforcement authorities will issue an instrument to the relevant owner upon confirmation, certifying that the owner has complied with the direction given. The enforcement authorities will also prepare a memorial form for the registration of the instrument and deliver the memorial to the land registry for registration to ensure that the owner's compliance is reflected in the land register. In addition, the administration confirmed that in relation to the existing and new offences which are of similar nature in the ordinance and the bill, the elements and penalty levels set out are consistent with each other. The administration also indicated that it will step up explanatory work for the public if the bill is passed. The administration will move CSAs to bring the bill into operation on the day of its publication in the Gazette for the purpose of speeding up the implementation of the measures provided for to enhance the fire safety standards of the buildings concerned. There will also be textual and technical amendments. The Bills Committee supports the administration's proposed CSAs and will not propose any CSAs to the bill. The committee has completed the scrutiny of the bill and supports the resumption of the second reading debate on the bill at the council meeting on the 11th of December. A written report will be submitted later. Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Mr. Tony Che. If members have no particular views, the second reading debate on this bill will be resumed at the council meeting of the 11th of December. The deadline for giving notice of any CSA is the 2nd of December, Monday. Report of the Subcommittee on Road Traffic Registration and Licensing of Vehicles, Amendment Number 2, Regulation 2024, LC Paper Number CB-39331/2024. I now invite Chairman of the Subcommittee, Mr. Ben Chen, to give us a report. Madam Chair, the subcommittee has completed the scrutiny of the Road Traffic Registration and Licensing of Vehicles Amendment Number 2, Regulation 2024. The objective of the amendment regulation is to tighten the regulation of unlicensed vehicles and to deter registered vehicle owners from disposing of their abandoned vehicles in an improper manner. For example, cars were dumped on public roads and rear lanes, causing environmental hygiene and obstruction problems. The subcommittee held a meeting with the administration, and members expressed concerns on various issues. They include the commencement date of the amendment regulation and the one-year transitional period arrangement. The application of the amendment regulation to vintage cars and relevant exemptions, the discretion of the magistrate in making an order, as well as the appropriateness of sending notices by ordinary post. The subcommittee supports the amendment regulation. The subcommittee and the administration have not proposed any amendments to the regulation. Details of the subcommittee's deliberations are set out in the report for members' attention. Thank you, Mr. Chen. If members have no particular views, please take note of the report. I remind members that the deadline for amending the subsidiary legislation mentioned above and scrutinized by the above subcommittee will expire at the council meeting of the 11th of December. The deadline for giving notice of amendments, if any, is the 4th of December, Wednesday.
Agenda item number 7, positions on Bills Committee and Subcommittees. As at the 28th of November, Thursday, there were in action 3 Bills Committee and 9 subcommittees under the House Committee, as well as 3 subcommittees on policy matters under panel. There are 3 subcommittees on policy matters on the waiting list. Agenda item number 8, proposal of the Parliamentary Liaison Subcommittee for Legislative Council delegation to conduct a duty visit to Korea and Japan. LC paper number MPR 35/24. I will now ask Chairman of the subcommittee, Mr. Tommy Cheng, to speak. Thank you. Madam Chair, the Parliamentary Liaison Subcommittee proposes a duty visit to Korea and Japan from the 18th to 24th of December 2024. One of the tasks of the subcommittee is to reinforce links with other legislatures and foster a friendly relationship with relevant organizations. The major purpose of the proposed visit is to gain a better understanding of the latest developments of the two countries in respect of the new opportunities in areas such as trade, culture, and tourism, agriculture, and food, etc., by visiting their parliaments and relevant government departments. The delegation will also meet with representatives of the business sectors in Korea and Japan to further promote economic and trade relations between Hong Kong and the two places, as well as to promote Hong Kong as a city for business, living, and tourism. The delegation also plans to visit the Chinese ambassadors to Korea and Japan for in-depth discussion on how Hong Kong can capitalize on its advantages of enjoying the strong support of the motherland and being closely connected to the world to promote closer Sino-Korea and Sino-Japanese relationship and cooperation. As president of the LegCo needs to preside over a council meeting and will be engaged in other official businesses, he will only join the Japan leg of the visit as the delegation leader. I thank the LegCo president for joining the visit despite his busy schedule. I, as the chairman of the subcommittee, will be the delegation leader of the Korea leg of the visit. Including myself, there are 7 members who have signed up for the visit and 8, including the LegCo president. The delegation are representative of the makeup of the Legislative Council. Details of the proposal has been set out in the paper for the House Committee's approval. Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Mr. Chung. Any questions or comments regarding the proposed duty visit? Dr. Junice Ho. Madam Chair, can other members join the visit? According to our past practice, duty visit by the Parliamentary Liaison Committee composes of members of the subcommittee. Only if there are vacancies can other members join. Mr. Tommy Cheng, anything to add? Our budget is only fit for 7 members. I'm worried that the 7 members are shouldering too much responsibility. We will try to pack light. I'm sure that members note the proposal. Usually, members of the subcommittee make up the delegation. This duty visit is different from other visits. Any questions or comments? If not, I now invite members to pass the duty visit proposal. Any objection? There being no objection, let's pass the proposal. Item 9, any other business? There being no other business, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you.